We're going to talk about sewing today and maybe a little bit of embroidery. This is my friend Heidi, and I'm Gabie, and we welcome you. So Heidi, when did you start sewing?
I was probably about 10. I come from a family with some very crafty people, and my grandmothers were both avid seamstresses. Different types of seamstress. One you can get up and look at all the details and everything is perfect. And one you need to stay about 3 feet away and it looks great. Just don't look inside.
I can relate to that one.
Yes, so it's interesting watching that my more detailed grandmother taught me how to sew, but both of them contributed to it.
My grandma taught me how to sew, and she was a perfectionist. She would rip things out again and again. However, when she gave you the garment or the toy or whatever it was, there would be strings. She was a perfectionist with all of her seams and her cutting, and now she quilts.
Yeah.
And she'll rip things out over and over again and recut.
Cleaning up those threads, not so much.
Yeah, but clipping those threads, she's not too great at. And neither am I, actually, but that's okay. Yes.
So yeah, I guess about 10, I started learning how to quilt with my one grandmother, and then moved on from there to doll clothes and white clothes. And just little accessories.
Yeah, it was fun as a kid to create something you could actually wear, you could actually put on your doll.
Yes. Well, we were growing up with the American Girl dolls, and so it was really beautiful to have a grandmother who would get the catalog and search for the fabric and send you what appeared to be the exact dress out of the Pleasant Green catalog. But she made it.
That's impressive.
It's impressive. And so that was a great reminder to me of how much you can do for yourself, put that extra effort in. You can make yourself some really amazing things.
You can. You can. And sometimes, depending on the fabric choice and all, you can do it a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. Yes.
So what did you bring to share today?
Oh, I got lots of things.
Okay.
Speaking of 18-inch dolls.
Yes.
One of the things that I made fairly recently for my daughter was modeled after a large brand name sleeping bag.
Right.
But modeled after large brand names. And we made it up for her 18-inch doll. She loves owls because it means her grandfather always says, "Owl will always love you."
Oh,
so
that's
near
cute.
dear to her. So this one was all with stuff out of my stash. And I discovered the other thing that works best for me for sewing. The fabrics have to go. I can't
have to coordinate.
Quilts. Yes. I can't do like mixing patterns. I want to. This is the perfectionist.
This goes very well together.
It does. I'm not quite sure how I wound up with matching fabric.
I don't know. Did you say that this is a sleeping bag?
This is a sleeping bag. Yeah. And the other thing that's nice about this is this fabric turned up in one of the other things I brought. It was very satisfying to tie everything.
So your items also coordinate.
My items. Well, that was leftover fabric. But that one she's really enjoyed. She tucks her doll in with all the time. She tucks her loveys in with it.
So you did, I don't know if y'all can see the little eyelashes.
The little applique, felt applique for the face. And I didn't put any interfacing
cute.
on it since the felt is stiff enough. And it's just the acrylic craft store felt.
Yeah.
But
So
this is fleece for the head because I had the right color.
Right.
But everything else is cotton.
So cute.
Yes.
I love it.
It's not 100% perfect, but I like it, and she likes it. She
I
really
am
gets a lot
sure
of
she
joy out of
does.
it.
All right.
She's a bit of an airy fairy, which is why one of the other things I brought, as far as gifts that you can make for people, easier to do. This is a half a yard of that velour that you can get at the craft store.
It looks like crushed velvet.
It does look like crushed velvet, and for the clothes, it's fancy.
It is fancy.
She gets so much joy from flitting around in a cape and swishing it. She did come and tell me that this wasn't quite swishy enough. She needed to be able to swing it out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's funny. So it has a little hood.
And she calls this her Sleeping Beauty cape. I made it because she liked pink, and I was making one for my niece who also likes pink. But she's decided that this works as Sleeping Beauty for her.
That's so cute.
And it's got the softer clasp. There's a beautiful hard one, almost like a belt buckle, but it's too hard for little fingers. So I've started doing the fabric ones on those. But it's just a half a yard of it, and I didn't even seam it. It's a rectangle, and you gather it at the collar.
Yeah, did you find this pattern, or this recipe, you made it up yourself?
I made up the recipe myself.
So you say it's a rectangle.
It's a rectangle. and then it's
Okay,
gathered. And
that's
you can
good.
do it where you cut it on at a 45-degree angle so that you have
Right.
kind of like a circle skirt almost.
Yes.
So that it is twirlier if you get that request from your
Oh.
fairy.
Yes.
Because who doesn't love a twirly cape?
Yeah.
And I actually like it better without the hood too, because that gets a little bulky. But the hood is just you
Yeah.
trace a dinner plate and then straight on either side. You trace the curve on a dinner plate.
Oh,
if you want.
okay.
You can also
So-
do it pointy, but it looks a little funny. It's very elf.
Very elf-like,
Yes.
yes.
So it just depends on what your
Cute.
kid wants. But I love that freedom of being able
Yes.
to even fix the length. You can fix the color. You can fix
Mhm.
the clasp. You can add decorative stitching if you want to.
I love
The
that.
other one with the recognizable fabric. This was a huge labor of love. If you've never tried to reverse applique the Yucatan Peninsula,
No, I
it's
have
an
not done
it's
that.
an experience.
Now, I think what we're gonna have to do is take like a video showing the whole quilt, and then we'll insert it
Sure.
maybe right here.
About somebody's fingers. Sounds good. This is
But you
a
can
solar
show,
system quilt.
You can also show that more, maybe zoom into the certain planets that you want to talk about.
Well, yeah, that's what it was. I was looking for fabrics that were representative of the planet, and I stumbled on batiks, which normally I pass by in the craft store every
Right.
single time because I think they're ugly. But man, I even got a red eye on Jupiter. I found one that had enough orange in it to make
Nice.
the red eye, which of course is disappearing. Much to
No,
Charlie's
I didn't know that.
It is. It's a storm. It's a hurricane,
Oh, right.
and so it's breaking up over time.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun to be able to find fabrics that represented the planets.
Planet.
Mm-hmm.
This one.
You had more batik for the rings of Saturn, the ring. of
You put a lot
Saturn.
of thought into this.
I did more than I probably should have. But that was I was still in my not quite recovering perfectionist stage.
Wait,
So we're
our
getting
planet's
there.
upside down.
Well, that's all right.
That's okay.
Once you get into space, everything's okay.
That's true. There's no right side up in space.
But what worked well with this was for the quilting lines, the orbits of the planets
Oh,
are the quilting
yeah.
lines. And I didn't want to add a bunch of because it's all hand done.
You handed all
It's
of the orbits?
machine applique, but hand done orbits. Yeah.
Okay.
Which again, if you're going for perfectionist, that's not the way to do it.
I think it looks
But
amazing.
it works, and it makes him happy, and he sleeps under it every night, and he thinks it's great. And then on the back, of course, so he likes outer space, and he likes dinosaurs. And I had this in my stash, so it worked out.
And the colors work.
The colors work. Yes, it's like that. I love that about crafting. Is sometimes everything comes together. It's not
Mhm.
perfect, but it all works out.
Yeah. You did such a great job with this.
Thank you. It was like you say, finding the colors, and then I didn't realize, but I have very specific color associations with the planets, which has absolutely no basis in rationality. It has
No, it's
all
not
picture
actually
books.
scientific. It's just.
But it works.
Of course,
But
the sun
the,
is sparkly.
The sun is sparkly, and that's
Aw.
actually the sleeping bag. The wings of the owl is this in orange.
Oh, the
And
sparkly.
I thought
Okay.
one of my planets was this in orange. but
Maybe.
Apparently
The
not.
sun is very bright. It totally worked.
It works though.
And
yeah.
the swirling.
It is
and
swirling.
it has
Oh, that's
different-
what this turned into. This turned into a bell
Yeah.
dress for an 18-inch doll.
Oh.
In its next life.
Has many.
It has many iterations.
So cute.
So I do a lot of sewing more for other people rather than for myself. I
Yes.
went looking for things to bring that I'd made for me.
And you couldn't find any?
I found one. But the other thing that I do with my sewing, 'cause, you know, at some point, there's only so many gifts you can make. There's only so many
Right.
little girls who need swirly capes or dolls who need clothes.
Right. Or
So I've
people who
started-
appreciate them.
Well, there's that too. Although, you know what? I stopped making handmade gifts for baby gifts because I kept having people say, oh yeah, we put it away in their special box, but I was afraid for them to like throw up on it or something.
Aw. But
That's
then you
the
don't ever
best-
use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My sister, I make her pillowcases, and she rather routinely brings them back to me, and they have just been worn to shreds. And she said, can you cut this and make it into something else? I've used it,
Aw.
and that to me is the best.
That's good.
That's the best compliment.
Yeah.
Is that it gets used, not that it sits in somebody's baby
Yes.
box.
All right, before you show that, let me see if y'all can see this. And tell me about what this is.
This is a local nonprofit called Gracie's Gowns, and it makes
Okay.
custom hospital gowns for children who are in long-term medical care. a fabric that matches their taste, their name is embroidered on it. It's something to try to make the hospital visit
Do
easier.
they fill out like what they're interested in?
Mhm.
Okay, so
You
then
put
you
in a
go
request.
and you go find fabric. Like this one, it has the
So if you have a girl who loves Paris.
Paris. Yeah, so I guess the girl said she liked Paris, and you found the fabric, and then you'll make the hospital
woman who
gown.
runs it works very hard. I've sewn Harry Potter gowns, I've sewn Steelers gowns, I've sewn beautiful book fabric gowns, every Disney character imaginable. Just something to make that hospital stay, especially when it's those long repeat ones.
Yeah, that'd be tough as a
It
kid.
is, and
It'd be tough for anybody.
It's tough for anybody. But
Maybe they should start an adult version too.
I think I fit the teen ones, and their size to the children. But it's such a joy to me, and it's hard. Sometimes I'll have a stack of gowns and get a call that somebody's in hospice and needs it sooner.
Right.
So it's a hard, not nearly as hard as the parents, of course.
Right.
But I love that something that I do imperfectly and for fun can become something that helps somebody else.
Bring a joy to
Bring
somebody
a joy to
who's
them.
struggling.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in it? How do you find that out?
I ran across it. A friend of mine, it was one of those Facebook, a friend had commented on this particular one and she was looking for volunteers to do some sewing. And at that point I wasn't, my health wasn't great, so I couldn't get out and do a bunch of stuff and like be busy and volunteer and be predictable in what I could do. But I can stay up at night and sew straight lines. So
I guess the
it was one
hospital
of
gown
those.
is not exactly fitted.
Yeah, no, it's not. So it's a French seam on the sides so that it's not scratchy.
Right.
And then a rolled hem around. And then she does all the hard work. The woman who runs it does all the hard work of getting the snaps on. She does the embroidery. Her volunteers just sew the gowns.
Okay. Can anybody volunteer then?
Anybody can volunteer. It's
message
local
or
here
whatever?
to Virginia. It's local here to Virginia, so it's easier if you're within driving distance.
Right.
But always donations.
Oh, that's true.
Offers of
Fabric donations too, maybe?
monetary is easiest because they take a lot more fabric than you think.
Oh, and then
because
you
of the
need to
width of
match
them.
the fabric with the kid too.
And
I
you need to
guess.
match the fabric with the kid, so
Right.
it helps more to have financial resources to move quickly,
right.
To be able to get the unique fabric to the
Right.
requests. But
Makes sense.
any bit is helpful.
Yeah.
And
Did you want to try to show this at all?
This one is unsewn, so you really just can see the shape of the I mean, we all know what hospital gowns are.
Right.
And that's the other nice thing with these is it will have a line of snaps across the top, so it's not the
And she does the
funky
snaps?
open. She does the snap
that's
setting and
nice.
everything, so you don't have your backside hanging out.
Right.
When you're already uncomfortable and unhappy and
Right.
stuck somewhere you don't want to be. So it's a very simple shape.
Cute fabric.
I have sewn so many cute things. Oh my goodness. And then we use the scraps to make. I pair it with my stash fabric, and we use the scraps to make like tote bags that they can. Either the gowns can be put in, or they can go with the other things. We make masks, caps, whatever you can use the fabric for.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's
Great
been like I said, nice to be able to take something where I'm not able to do what I would like to do, like being out.
Right.
But I can do it at home. And
Yeah,
still
and with your
contribute
kids
something.
and things
My
like that.
7-year-old comes and helps me. So what she really loves to do is she draws pictures coordinated to the fabric and tucks them because they also have a pocket
Yeah?
that go with them for the heart monitors and the cords from there. So she tucks her picture in the pocket with a note.
So sweet.
It is. And there again, they're learning too. Sometimes supporting people is the practical. It's running a meal over to
Right.
them. It's sending them money. It's being there when they need you to be there. But sometimes you can do the more behind the scenes stuff. So, and I'm happy that they can see that as well.
Absolutely. I think that's a great
Being a
idea.
perfectionist is really hard, and I realized I didn't want to pass that on to them. And this is one of those
Right.
you
Working
can
on
do
that.
I know. Well, when you hear yourself coming out of your kid's mouth, and it's one of those things that you realize what it sounds like and what it does to them.
Right.
Oh,
Can
that's
relate.
sobering. Yeah. So if
It
the seams
is.
are a little wonky, it'll still get worn and used and loved.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes. You pay attention to detail when you need to. But, sometimes you gotta learn what you can be flexible
You
on.
learn your limit. I learned my
Yeah.
limit was I can't do mismatched scrap quilts. Like I tried that because I had all these great, you do a quilt size like this.
Yes.
And then you put all those together,
Yep.
and they're all useless pieces of fabric until all of a
Yep.
sudden they make a beautiful quilt.
I have one of those. I did it for.
I'm envious of people who could do this because it made me twitchy.
See, my
couldn't do
my
it.
two
I tried multiple
Yeah.
times.
my two stepsisters and I, we all did quilts when we graduated high school and went to college, and we did it together. And we used fabric pens to sign our name on like
So
the
you
center
all
square.
made them together and then
Mhm.
sent them with whoever was going?
Yes.
What
like,
a fantastic
one of them
idea.
was a crazy quilt, and they realized it was too difficult to do all those strange pieces to do in one big
Right.
crazy quilt. So they did like crazy quilt squares.
Oh, blocks.
And then sewed the blocks together, so it wasn't
That's a
quite
fantastic
as complicated.
idea.
That
Okay.
was really cool. I like that.
I love that idea.
And mine was basically a quicker version of a crazy quilt because it was just the squares.
only my
random
neurotic
fabric.
quilt.
Yeah, and then I think that was tied. I didn't actually quilt it.
Yeah.
But we did, I think on all of ours, we did a velvet binding,
Ooh.
so it's really soft.
I bet that is.
And at the
very
time, I
cozy.
thought it'd be really cool to tie-dye the backing. So
Ooh.
the back of it's tie-dyed.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean that's what we did with his quilt. I wanted him to
Yeah.
be able to use either side.
Mhm.
So if you're in the mood for tie dye in the dorm,
That's
or if you're in
right.
the mood for a crazy, or I'm sorry, a mildly neurotic quilt, then not falling crazy.
I don't think I ever put the tie-dye on top, but it was kind of fun to have it underneath. And the
To know it's
velvet
there.
trim was
That's a great idea.
because it was so
Oh my
soft.
goodness. It didn't stretch and slip when you were sewing it?
I think that she got it bound.
Okay. It was somebody else's problem.
Yeah, I didn't do that part, thankfully.
Do you think you'll do
Thankfully.
that with your kids when they start moving out?
I have no idea. I'm more into knitting at this point in my life because I can pick it up and put it down, whereas a quilt is not nearly as easy
Kinda
to do
need
that
to
with.
commit
You
to
kind of
that.
need the sewing machine, and it's not quite as easy to pick up and put down.
Yeah.
So, but by the time they're going off to college, I
Maybe you'll be in
expect
your
my
quilting
lifestyle
phase.
will be slightly different, not quite as interrupted, hopefully.
You'll be so busy writing knitting patterns you won't be able to.
That could be. That could
Although I
be.
will say for quilting, as far as picking up and putting down, my guest room is done in very Pioneer Woman colors.
Yes.
Unintentionally, it just happened. I set it up first, and then she picked
She
up my
copied
colors.
you.
Yes, clearly. But I found one of her tablecloths, and I was like, this is it. This is exactly the pattern and color I've been looking for to
Yeah.
make a quilt for the guest room. So I'm making a quilt of a tablecloth. But
It's
it
all
works.
fabric.
It's a whole cloth. It's a whole cloth quilt. It's not a tablecloth. It is a whole cloth quilt, and then I'm just quilting around the motifs on it.
Right.
Which
That's
is perfect.
fun. That you could pick up.
That you
and
can
take
pick up
Yes.
and put down, and it has been put down for far too long.
It happens.
But it's one of those nice projects. I'm making it for me. It will eventually be done, but it's great in the winter when you want something warm. I did realize hand quilting a queen size quilt in the summer is a
Yeah,
terrible
probably not
idea.
the best idea.
Not
No.
a good idea. And it just
You get a little too warm.
This is the second time I've done it. I think I would have learned the first time.
Well, maybe by the third time you'll learn.
But finding that fabric, I walked by it first. I was like, "Oh, that's beautiful. I wish she made fabric to use for quilts." And then I thought
Dawned
about
on
it.
you?
Like, what else
What's
would
the
you
difference?
use?
Right.
It's just going on the guest room bed. It'll be warm. It'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
It'll be cozy. What else
Perfect.
does it need to be? Yeah, you can wash it because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I
I've
brought-
been getting better about finding my joy.
That's good. I brought a little bit of sewing to show.
I've been
This-
eyeballing this one. Yes.
Yes, this is a dress I made. I did take a short little video of myself wearing it because it's all the way down to the floor. So we'll put that in here.
And it moves. Moves beautifully with you. The drape on it is gorgeous, which I think the video will catch.
Hopefully. It is cotton. I bought fabric at Joann Fabrics, and it's chambray. Is that the
That
right
sounds
color?
right.
But it has almost these little holes poked in it.
So it's got some texture to it.
Yes. I don't know if you can see this on the video. So it has a little bit of a pattern, but it's not a printed pattern or anything.
It's really more texture than.
It's more texture. It's almost distressed in a way, but not. But I did not have a pattern. I actually created my own pattern from a dress that I kind of liked, the way the top hung. And I just wanted something long and really easy to wear. And I did not want a long maxi dress that was jersey knit. And I don't like showing my underwear lines and things. I like to be able to just throw it on and
Keep walking.
The whole point of a maxi dress for me is just really casual and like easy. And so that's what I wanted this to be.
I cheat and wear a slip with mine so I don't have to worry about lines
I don't
showing.
want to bother with a slip. That makes it warmer. So anyways,
So
this
is this
worked
the
out.
first dress you've sewn for yourself?
Probably not.
Okay.
No.
Have you ever drafted patterns before?
I'm one of those people who will kind of wing things and then kind of take my own fabric or my own clothes and like, you know, kind of lay it out and draw around it and see if I can work up something. This is probably the first one that's come out well.
Okay.
The other ones are more like, it was a good try.
Back in the closet.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut it into something else.
Something like that. Yeah, I did realize, so it's not a stretchy fabric at all. I put these little pinches here because I thought that looked better after I finished it. And I had this band around here, but then realized it was too bulky. And I didn't want to do like a zipper or anything else, so I actually put elastic underneath
That's a
of
great
it.
idea because when you're on the side seam, when you start folding that under, it gets
Right.
really bulky.
And so,
That's a great
but I
solution.
needed to be able to put it on too, so
Yeah.
it couldn't be so tight. So that worked out really well, and I did that like after the fact, but it still worked out.
It looks great.
Yeah,
And you've worn it to church. You've
I've worn it a lot,
out and about.
actually.
Yeah.
it's really comfy, really easy to wear, really lightweight.
Very good.
So I would say this is my most, I'm most proud of this one in terms of my own garment that I've done for myself.
As you should be.
And then,
This is adorable.
so if you want to hold that.
I love piping. Oh my goodness.
This is probably the first time I've ever used piping.
I remember you
So-
telling me that, which is impressive given how nice you did it.
Well, thank you. And I don't think I ever even took out my basting stitch there, but that's okay.
Would you ever notice? Like, I wouldn't
No,
have noticed if you hadn't
not
pointed
really.
it out to me. I just figured you were top stitching it.
So this blue aqua fabric with the little flowers is vintage. My stepmom gave it to me. She cut it up between me and my sister, and
Does it have special significance?
she just had it in her stash. She's
Okay.
always sewn, and she thought it was really cute. And she has two girls. My stepsister does, and then I have two girls as well. And so she thought it'd be really cute for all the grandchildren, all the girl grandchildren, to have coordinating fabric.
I love it.
And it's corduroy, tiny corduroy, and super cute. So I wanted to do something with that. So for my two girls, I made two dresses. I'll show you the pattern in a
Did
minute.
they pick their own patterns?
From
The
what I
dresses
had,
you
I
said.
already had some patterns in my stash. This is a vintage pattern that I got from my grandmother. I can go ahead and show you that. Simplicity, probably can't get it anymore because it's quite old. And I think I used this pattern, but I did not do the collar or those pockets.
Here, actually, let me see that real quick. So on,
Yeah.
on the back, it showcases just how much
The
variety you
options,
can get
yes.
from all of these, and I love these. And I do that for the doll clothes too. I have one basic dress pattern,
Right.
and it gets modified to everything
Yeah.
from a bell gown to a school dress to this to that. And
Yes.
so when you're looking for patterns, having that
Is a great option. 'cause,
Is great. Or
I had the
even when you're
basic
making
one
your
with the
own.
ruffle on the bottom, and then it gave the option for the different sleeves.
Yeah, and once you
Yes.
get the bodice pattern right for you, for the girls,
Right.
adding the sleeves and the extras gets really, even if you're winging it, as long
Right.
as you can get that good baseline pattern,
Yep.
you're miles ahead.
It turned out really wide here, so I pinched it. I'm into
I see a
that.
pattern.
And I thought it added to it. I thought
It
it actually
does.
looked really cute when I did that. So
Mhm.
when I was playing around with it to see what I could do to fix the width right there, when I did that, I was like, oh, it looks cute, and it's
Perfect.
super easy.
And they're good. A quarter is bulky, so it's hard
Yeah.
to find a good fix for that.
Yeah.
That was very creative.
And she really was in a stage when I made this of pockets. So
Ooh,
I
it's a
made
good pockets.
pockets on the side.
My favorite black sheath dress that I wear for professional things, like conferences, has pockets, and that's
Yes.
why it's my favorite.
I put a pocket in this one too, this long
You're
one.
never too old for pockets.
Exactly. So this one is from a more modern pattern. You may actually be able to find this on,
Is this just a pullover?
yes, it is.
No zipper?
No, I did
Like
not do a zipper.
Your buttons on the front.
So it's this one, and it came with the doll pattern for the dress, for the little doll as well. And this one has some sparkly buttons on the back. I did not do piping on the doll one. That would have been
threads either.
Yeah, and somehow I have some long threads.
Your grandmother.
Absolutely treating like my grandma. But they both had the big pockets on the side,
Oh,
which I
I
thought
love
was
it.
super fun.
Put all kinds of good stuff. What kind of
Yes.
stuff have you found in the pockets? Anything interesting?
Nothing really. I
No
think
frogs,
she must.
no acorns.
No,
Okay.
she must have taken them out. I'm sure I found some stuff in there, but nothing memorable. So yes, the piping. It was a little bit of a challenge, and after I did this dress, I was like, I don't really think I want to do another one. So I went a different route for the other
But it
job.
adds so much. It really ramps up the dress. It's worth that extra.
Forgot to show that I did a matching for my younger daughter with the ruffles on the bottom. I didn't
And
do her
sparkly
fancy
buttons.
sleeves because that was slightly more difficult.
Well, matches
Figured
the dress.
sleeveless was
Yeah,
fine.
close enough.
So
Again,
they've liked
It's one of
these.
those recovering perfectionist things. You know.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. The only other thing I wanted to show in the sewing area was this. I found this at a homeschool convention table for free. They had like a book sale, and they have a free table on there, and it's like this vintage collection of doll clothes to make. And hold on. So Barbie, you can totally see the vintage vibe of this. You know, with some updated fabric. My girls though, they saw these pictures, they're like, that's awesome. They loved it.
As long as it's fancy,
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
And then they have like 16 and 18-inch doll stuff in here, I think. And even Cabbage Patch Kid patterns.
Did you have
So,
a Cabbage
I thought it
Patch
was-
Kid?
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Didn't.
Oh, I had, my favorite was a preemie Cabbage Patch Kid.
How big are those?
They're just a little bit smaller, and they're bald, and they have like beans in their behinds. Which was
There's
just
nothing so
adorable.
creepy like beans in the behind.
Yes, and his name is Michael, and my oldest daughter actually still has him.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sweet.
You might need
Yeah.
to sew some extra clothes for Michael.
I might.
Do your girls put in requests for things for them or their lovies?
They like anything I make, and they will request things sometimes, but they know that it might not be fulfilled in the near future.
Priorities.
That's right.
Life gets in the way. So see, this
That's
is
right.
as we get on later. We
Yes.
can always have more time to sew, which is sad because then you don't have the audience to sew for.
True, but you might have grandchildren one day to sew for.
I don't want to wait till I have grandchildren.
No,
I don't want
you
to do
can
the
sew for other
maybe.
people's kids, maybe.
I'm working on that. But
People-
I'm
kids
trying
in
to
the
make
hospital,
more priority
okay.
for the things that my
That's a
kids
good
want.
idea. Maybe I should
Because
do
they're
that
only
too.
young for so long.
Well, I think we're gonna get a storm, so well, thank you for being with me, and thank you for
Most
sharing all your
welcome.
sewing.
Thank
I
you.
loved it.
I'm so excited to talk crafts with somebody else.
Yay.
It's always fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. Go ahead and cut the podcast
Close
for
out.
the. Well, thank you for being with me.
So fast. Oh, he's on the hole.